Good morning, this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, this morning I want to remind those of you who are probably too young to remember this, but there's an old movie, an old Hollywood movie that was particularly good. It had a guy called Danny Kaye in it, and Danny Kaye played the part of a character called Walter Mitty. And Walter Mitty lived in a world of his own. He was an incredible liar, even to himself. You see, now what he did was he wasn't very happy living under the thumb of his mom, who was a very domineering lady and told him everything to do. So he internalized into his own mind, and he made this wonderful, wonderful world where he was a fighter pilot and he was a hero, and he was the absolute ultimate brave, courageous guy who you could depend on to do anything. But actually he was a wimp. He was a very sick man. And the idea of Walter Mitty actually became a catchphrase, a little bit like Catch-22 became a catchphrase here. You know, even people who have never read the book know about Catch-22, and they'll quote, well, it's Catch-22. In other words, you can't do anything about it. Well, the reason I bring up Walter Mitty, because it is funny, and it was a funny movie about a very sick guy. Well, I had somebody who just emailed me, and I get these emails from people which I value greatly because they can be extremely beneficial. They can be extremely educational. I'm actually trying to find the thing now. And then they can also be extremely enlightening about what people think and how either intolerant or tolerant they are. Some generous, some compassionate, some wonderful, you know. And then there are others who will try not to just teach or, well, I think of ideal teaching as somebody who wants to share what they've learned, and I hope that that's the way that I come across. I've learned a little about life, and I like to share that. And some people say, "Oh my God, he's doing a war and peace." Well, well, that's true. I probably am. All right, and you'll have to bear with me because I'm a cranky old man, aren't I? But anyway, let me put my glasses on so you know that I'm going to be reading. And I'm just looking at this email. I'm not going to burden you with the whole thing because I didn't burden myself with the whole thing. But whoever wrote this will know what I'm talking about. Saying, "Dear TMB, I have nothing personal against you. I just suffer seeing two Christian families fighting for what I call stupid reasons. Terence, you may be trying to protect your family, as you said, but I encourage you to learn from your wife how to do it the Christian way, not from the Western way. If you have successfully put the situation behind you, God bless you." Well, TMB, try please to ask yourself what Jesus Christ expects from you. Helping, now this this is wonderful, this little bit now. Helping needy people is wonderful, but it's not enough. Jesus Christ said needy people will always be around. Jesus Christ said a lot of things. Jesus Christ said, if someone needs your help, give him the shirt off your back. Jesus Christ walked around without anything more than the clothes on his back. Jesus Christ gave everything, including his life. Now, when people talk to me about Jesus Christ, it just happens that they're talking about one of my heroes, one of my mentors. Now, somewhere along the line, people have got the idea that I'm a non-believer. This woman calls me a pagan. Thank you, ma'am. So I'm a pagan. I'm a pagan because I don't quite believe in the way that she thinks. And she says, you may be you may be trying to protect your family. Well, yes, I was trying to protect my family because I have a Walter Mitty in my life. Now, she talks about forgiveness. Now, let me tell you my view on forgiveness. You forgive people because if you don't forgive them, then that lack of forgiveness, the very withholding of forgiveness inside the heart, rots you away. It eats you away. So you must forgive people that transgress against you. The other thing as well is that none of us are perfect, and for every time that someone lets you down, you have let someone else down. For every time someone has lied, you have lied. We've all done it. Hopefully we've reached a place where we've realized that that's not the way to go. And in realizing that, we try to bring about some kind of truth into our lives. Well, Walter Mitty didn't do that, and I have a Walter Mitty in my life. Now, I have the right to choose those people that I want in my life, and I do. I make that choice. Do I forgive? Yes, I do. But right now, the Walter Mitty that I have in my life, who this lady thinks should be all just move on, let's just all be pals again. Well, my Walter Mitty is going around telling everybody that I'm a scammer, that I'm dishonest, that I'm a thief, that I'm using my wife, that I'm doing all kinds of things. And I'm trying to reconcile this with the man that I look in the mirror. And actually, all that Beth and I are trying to do is to help people. Now, for those of you who are saying, oh, Terence, don't start explaining yourself again. I'm not explaining myself. What I'm trying to do is to show that the Walter Mitty syndrome is prevalent to some degree or other in all of our lives. And how do we deal with that? Well, what you have to do first and foremost is you try to get your own act together. You try to tell the truth. You try to be honest and loyal. And you do those things to the best of your ability. Now, in doing that, one of the things that you have to do is clean up your own act. So you have to stop behaving in a way which has no integrity. Then it becomes easier to tell the truth. And that is a lesson that I've been learning many, many times over in my life. So, is it war and peace again? Well, probably, all right? So, but the point I'm trying to make is this, is that I've forgiven because what else would you do with someone that you see as a lunatic, as a Walter Mitty? Now, why would I choose not to have this Walter Mitty in my life? Well, one of the main reasons, apart from how abrasive he is that he has a string of violent attacks on various people. His brother-in-law, he's assaulted his brother-in-law, he's assaulted a young kid that was on a tricycle, pushed him so hard that he flew back and went onto the ground. And what was the kid trying to do? He had an accident and he was trying to say he was sorry. Now, all of this is on record. This is not me being a Walter Mitty. This is all on record. The police know this Walter Mitty very, very well, as we found out when we went to report his implied threats of burning my car and having somebody come up here to beat me up. So, this has worked very well for him in the past. He's a big guy and he's living in a land of small people. Filipinos are usually little guys. Well, this has worked very well for him, except when he was in the Barracuda a little while ago, and he saw a little guy urinating either up against his bike or behind his bike, who was part of a drinking party, and he went over the big guy, to the little guy, and I guess was very threatening to him. Well, it would have worked normally, but this little guy had another little guy who was a friend of his and who came up and helped. And between the two of them, they gave the big guy something to think about. And then they both left. Now, somebody from the other party came over and said, maybe you should leave now, because they've probably gone home to get a gun. Now, off he went with his tail between his legs, and he hid out for about a month, never going into Taliban. This is our big, brave Walter Mitty. Okay, do I choose to have this in my life? No. Do I forgive it? Yes. That's the way that he is. He's not going to change. He's not going to change for me, and I'm not going to ask him to. But I don't want him in my life. So, this is a general thing. Do we choose our people even though we forgive them? Do we choose not to forget? Well, if a guy kept coming into, I'm not talking about anybody in particular now, but if a guy kept coming into your house and stealing money, would you stop inviting him into your house? I think so. If a guy came over and kept pushing you around, would you seek out his company? No, you wouldn't, because this is called learning. This is called intelligence. This is called sensible behavior. You find those people who suit you the best. So, do I have people even on my site who are calling me a thief or calling me this or no, because I choose to run a site with my wife, and we just do the best that we can with what we have, and that's what we continue to do. Now, I read something very interesting online a few days ago, and the person said that researchers found that 80% of the population are addicted to approval, to seeking approval. Now, what does that mean? It means that we all want everybody to say, you're doing a great job. We all want everyone to approve of what we're doing. Right? So, when you share with someone of one of your dreams, and I'm sure that everybody has been here, you think something's a great idea, and you talk to someone and say, hey, you know what I'm thinking of doing? I'm thinking of going over there and doing that. And the person says, are you insane? Are you crazy? Why would you want to do that? But what? You don't get approval. Probably, unless it was a very important thing to you, you give up on that idea. That's the way it works. Now, what about the 20% that we're talking about that is not approval addicted? Now, that 20% don't give a damn what everybody thinks, and they're going to produce something that other people have not seen before. And they're the ones that lead action. Now, as soon as, this is what the research found, as soon as you stand up and say, I'm going to do this, and I don't care what anybody else thinks, you're in for it. It's just a fact of life. So you better get used to it. If you've got an idea and you hold it true and you are committed to that idea, then get ready for the crap, because it's coming. Does that mean you give up? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't mean you give up at all. No, you just know it's coming. So, this is what you do. My friend used to go like this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. When the crap came, you don't have to take it on board. So, this little email that I've had goes in the trash. Did I read it all? After about the first paragraph, no, I didn't. As soon as I got to the part where one of my heroes, Jesus Christ, was being quoted as, "You don't have to help needy people." I said, whoosh, whoosh, and it was in the trash. The person is entitled to their opinion, but not on my email. That's how I see it. Does this relate to you, or is it just about me? No, it's not just about me. None of the things that I elect to talk about are just about me. The hope is that someone will take it and say, "Do you know what? This is about me too." And that they will actually learn something. Somebody did actually email me and say, "You're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong. And I'm watching what you're doing and I'm learning from your mistakes." Good. That's good. I'll make the mistakes and you learn from them. And then, of course, you will be able to go ahead and you will do it perfect. Maybe. So, what we do is we share our mistakes in the hope that other people will not suffer in the same way. Now, this woman on here says, "Why don't you learn from your wife about the Christian way of dealing with these stupid little things?" Let me tell you that my lovely wife is spitting bullets about the things that are said about me and her. So, there's the Christian way. Jesus Christ got mad when he went into the temple and he saw the moneylenders and the traders and those people who were doing anything but the kind of activity that you would expect in a temple, in a house of God. And he threw them out. Did he get mad? Oh boy, did he get mad. And later, in part, it cost him his life. Now, I watched my wife, who someone called the warrior princess. And I watched her as she went from one office window, from one cubby hole in the wall to the next, back and forth, back and forth. She waited in line for hours. Nothing I can do. I don't speak the language, and if I'm a foreigner, they'll push the price up 10 times or whatever it is that they do. And she handled it. Now, when we were asked to help the Goldstone couple, we were told, "We need your help." And we said, "We will try our best." This was after the Nisa debacle.
Hey.
And I said that I didn't think that anybody would want to help after that. Okay, so now the Western way would have been to have steam coming out of the ears and would be blasting at every window that she went to. But she didn't do that. She did that not the Christian way, she did that the Filipino way. Filipinos do not easily get mad. Do they get mad? Yes, they do. Do they kill people? Do they murder people? Do they do all kinds of bad things? Yes, like everybody else in the world they do. But they are slow to anger, is how I've seen it happen. Now, we were asked, as I said, for help on 150,000 pesos. That's what they had been told. That's what they'd been told the operation was going to be. Now, these are simple people who are used to living in a hilltop community, farmers, and did they know how to handle things? No, probably not. Okay? So they'd been told that, and that's what they came to us with, feeling hopeless. How can we do this without help? Needy people. Gosh, I hope that Jesus Christ isn't listening to us now when I say that we'll help you. But I said to Beth, how can we get anybody to help us? And she said, we'll we'll just put the story up and see what happens. And that's what we did. Well, the way that it turned out was somebody then, a subscriber said, I've researched this online and apparently you can get this operation for 50,000 pesos. So great, it's come down from 150,000 to 50,000, and we used that as our marker. I went to the hospitals and we went from, as I said, from one window to another, and we found out by going to everyone over and over again. And like yesterday, Beth went to one window. I said, that looks like a shorter line there. Why don't you go to that one? She said, that man is very strict. I went to him and he said, no, you need this and you need that. You need to go over there. And she said, so I went in the other queue. She went in the other line. Did she start arguing with that man? She said, no, thank you, sir. And she went in the other line. By which time this other guy had come back who wasn't strict. And the signature that was needed on there, he just said, oh, we just need that signature. And he signed it. So she found the way to work with that. And she did it with a smile on her face. Now, did she do it with a smile on her face and then come back to me and roar like a lion? No, she didn't. That smile on her face was true. It was real. And she went. And my warrior princess got the operation for the gallstone patient for 0. Now, because of how we have tried to work in transparency, we show the money that we got. We say, this man sent this much money. This is what we paid out. How does that man know we paid it out? Well, we hit on a secret. We show the money being paid out. That's how we do it. And because of that, we have some angels who are watching over us in our work of helping needy people. Sorry, Jesus. We have Model who comes up with money. If we ask, we need help Model. That's not the name, that's the code number, because Model chooses not to be known, chooses to be anonymous. We have our Little Bit Rich, who is not only a sponsor, but has become a mentor, has become a good friend, someone that I would respect enough to go to for advice. We have Ross. Now, these people come forward and they give help. And how do they choose to give help? Well, we publish the stories of all of the people in our lives, whether they're relatives or whether they're friends or whether they're past acquaintances or whether they're strangers. We post the stories, and in posting the stories and showing the people out there, sponsors say, I want to help that person. Now, Ross is a father, and he is a father, the duty of that he holds to his heart. And he saw the plight of my brother-in-law. Did he care that it was my brother-in-law? Did he choose to help because it was my brother-in-law, Beth's brother? No. He chose because he saw in Manarado a father struggling to bring up a child that was disabled. And he gave a lot of help, many times over, to Manarado. And so did Sir Brian. Why did Brian choose to give money? Because he saw something that he could trust. And that is how we have worked. And that's how we will continue to work. And what we're trying to promote is the idea of compassion, of, look at you there, my warrior princess. We're trying to promote the idea of kindness. We're trying to promote that somebody out there, thousands and thousands of miles away, can help somebody here at a grassroots level. We had the guy not very long ago. He sent $50 and he said, I've seen those 3 little girls and they just touch my heart. Can you take them and buy them dresses? Just buy them new dresses. Well, we ended up taking 7 kids. And that $50 went a long way to bringing smiles to 7 kids. And then somebody else wanted to do something similar. We ended up taking 17 kids. And because of that, another lady whose birthday is coming up very early next month has said, I would like you to take those children that I saw and take them to McDonald's. Now in the West, oh, big deal, McDonald's. Couldn't you take them to a restaurant or something? These kids will never have been to a McDonald's, but every day when they look on a television program that has ads, which they all do, they will see these wonderful, wonderful, rosy commercials for how, well, McDonald's is the second happiest place in the world, isn't it? And they will have seen it, and they will never have been. So, next month, we're going to take 17 kids. Hopefully it doesn't work out at 20 kids, because I don't think I can get any more in my truck. And we'll take them down and we'll give them McDonald's. And the woman will be able to see that happening. And that's really what it's about. It's about compassion, about kindness. It's about helping to share for actually a very small amount. I'm not asking for anything now. I'm telling you the stories. And you do with that, as these people have done, you do with that what is needed. Now, when we were going to pay the bill that we had been told for the gallstone would be 15,000 pesos, well, we'd already run out of money, which we thought would cover the whole thing from Sir Ross and Sir Brian. We thought that we didn't have that money. And we drew the money out from our groceries. And we took the money that we would have paid that we would have used on our groceries, and we took a leap of faith and we said, somebody will send the money. And on the way up there, we sent a message to Little Bit Rich. And we told him, this is what's happened. And in the past he had said, if you get in trouble, I'll cover you. And so we said, we need 15,000. That's what we thought we needed. And he said, no problem. How would you like me to send it? It's called trust. It's called compassion. It's called kindness. Well, when we got there, after hours of waiting, I didn't answer that straight away. And then we found out that we didn't need 15,000. Now, here's what I think is the difference between our relationship and others. Our relationship with the people that help and empower us to help others. We immediately texted, messaged Little Bit Rich and said, it's okay. We don't need it because the bill is 0. Now that's about trust, and it's about being loyal and true to those relationships that you have where the people are empowering you.